break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain.
Well, here we are again, one more time.
Hello, hello.
Hello, YouTube world. I am a little bit under the weather today, but I am going to try to push through this and get you that live, and living color. My name is Hillary. I'm here in Ontario, Canada, and you are listening to Hot Tea with Pleasures every Saturday at 8 o'clock on YouTube Live. Like, comment, subscribe, and all the way in Barbados is...
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Teresa, all the way in the beautiful island of
That's
Barbados.
right, that's right. We call it Bimshire.
I'm sure.
We're gonna teach them some Barbadian stuff, cause we call it Bayesian instead of Barbadian. Nobody don't.
Barbadian.
Yeah, and it's not okay. So one thing I have before we go into the topic today, one little pet peeve I have is this new ideology that everything is Bayesian on the internet. They put like Bayesian dollar.
Yep.
There's no such thing as a Bayesian dollar. It's Barbadian dollar. Okay, get it right.
Mm,
Anyways, today we have a very interesting topic, and I really hope that you guys come through and chat about it, and we can have some some one-on-one feedback. Well, male abuse, the missing link. We're gonna tackle that subject. Teresa, I'll let you go first while I do some setup on this side. So take it away, Teresa.
okay, good night again, everyone. Our topic tonight, she said, is the missing link with male abuse. Many times, well, most of the times, persons tend to shy away when there's abuse because maybe it's because of the ego, maybe because of the person that is doing the abuse, the relationship between the two persons. But mostly when it comes to men, they tend to keep silent. Why is this? So tonight we are here bringing it to the forum so that we can have men come through and discuss how they feel, why they keep silent. We can have we are bringing to the forum so our boys, our teenagers, our young adults can not feel pressured to keep silent about such. So tonight we are looking for you to come out and give any suggestions. If you're in the field of law enforcement, if you are in the field of medicine, a therapist, come on and weigh in on the topic, share your views, share an experience. We don't want to put everything there so that we can say, hey, this is this person that this person is talking about from the neighborhood. We don't want to do that. But we want you to come in, share experiences, share your ideas, how we can get our males to come forward and speak up.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, we don't want to lose the men in our community. We don't want them to fall victim of abuse. Because in some instances, it likely to turn from emotional abuse to
Wait.
physical abuse. Now, physical abuse can be
Let's
recognized.
hold on one second before we go any further. We are not professionals. We are just going to give our opinion, some information that
Mm-hmm.
we read, and I worked in criminal justice field for many years, and so I have a little bit of background on that. And I also do motivational speaking, so I do have a background in dealing with men and abuse. So I want to put that disclaimer out first before we do that. We're going to keep it raw and real, and I was trying to lubricate your life. So, Teresa, you can continue, and then I'm going to add my piece to it. Go.
Yes, like I was saying, physical abuse is mostly recognized because you will see the marks, you will see the bruises, and
Not
you will
always.
tend to
Not
feel the
always.
pain motion. Sorry?
Not always. Because sometimes physical abuse, you might not see marks, right? You might not see any marks. Yeah.
this is Hillary's area, so
This is my area.
correct me where I go wrong. This is Hillary's area.
I'm gonna take over a little bit here, Teresa, and
Mm-hmm.
then let you come back in because I want to give some statistics about it because I
Mm-hmm.
don't think people realize. And I'll tell you this: when we're gonna keep this real, when you first of all, when we put it out there, some people were asking questions like, "When we going to hear about women's abuse?" We hear about women abuse. This is the whole point. We do not
Mm-hmm.
talk about men abuse, male abuse, because one, we think of it as an LGBTQ community, uh, TQ community problem, and it's not. It's also in the heterosexual community. We also think that, you know, we dismiss it. Let's be honest. You walk down the street, you see a woman hitting a man, and what do you say? A lot of people are like, what did he do? Justifying it. And also, we have that whole shame or non involvement when it comes to abuse where people do not want to get involved. So, in saying that, I just want to say a couple of things like, do you know that 9% of rapes in America are males that have been raped? And again, both sides of the coin when it comes to men being raped. So in Canada, we have like 418 men that have been abused, either physically or sexually by women. And then we have 1 in 5, 10 men experience this in the United States, whether it be sexual, physical violence or rape or stalking. So that means like 1 in every 4 men, and then 1 in every 14 has penetration, and 1 in 38 are raped. So 71% of them have experienced any kind of violence from women or same sex as a male before the age of 25. Before the age of 25 years old, 71% of men have been abused. And, 1 in 3 is sexual violence, and 56% of them have contact violence. So I'm going to teach you a couple of little acronyms here now. So we have the IPVs, where I think a lot of people know that is intimate partner violence. That could be on either side. Sexual violence is SVE, and then we have the the CSV, which is the contact sexual violence, and of course we have stalking. So these are some of the just a little bit background, so you know that it is a serious problem, and a lot of men do not admit or speak about their experience when it comes to being assaulted by a female, especially because society has said if you're weak or they're taunted or made uncomfortable, it's not something that a lot of men, as I said, want to talk about. And I'll be honest, some of our audience are like, and that's the problem. We're conditioned to think that men are always strong and men are always, the aggressor in a lot of situations. This is one of those conditionings and one of those stereotypes that we have in society that is very dangerous, because everyone, doesn't matter what sexuality, can be a victim of abuse. And I had, unfortunately, or fortunately I should say, working as being a motivational speaker and hosting workshops, I have seen men sit in the audience that are victims of abuse in an actual active abuse situation, and have them approach me after my presentation to let me know that they were in a domestic violence situation. One person had lost his eye. His wife had abused him to the point where she took his eye, and he was still in the relationship. And I've had men approach me and let me know that they were being sexually assaulted. There's people ask, there's that question, can a man be raped? Yes. There's the answer. Yes, there is rape, and then there is made to penetrate, which is the MTP, right? So like rape is, I'm going to try to be technical with it. It is basically completed and attempted unwanted penetration. That's rape, right? Where the person is physically forced by the is a victim of and unable to consent due to, could be drunk, being high, or drugged, or unconsciousness, lack of awareness, or whatever. That's rape. And then there is the MTP, which is, as I said, is the made to penetrate, and that occurs when, there's an attempt to sexually assault a man, and forcing him to penetrate you as a female. And it can be forceful or not forceful. It could be a simple thing as blackmail. It could be anything. It could be pressure, alcohol or drugs. It could be anything. Seduction. Anything unwanted is not okay. So I'm going to push it back over to you, Teresa.
Okay. Taking it a lot there from what Hillary said, the different acronyms and all of that. What makes a person abusive is one of the things that I get from what she said. Mm-hmm. And doing some research, it also says that the person is more of a controlling person. Mm-hmm. So those are some of the signs you can look for what makes the person abusive. And always need to have that control. Mm-hmm. So what causes the violence in men, in the case of mental illness, it happened to them when they were young. Jealousy can be another factor there. Alcoholic abuse, mm-hmm. drug abuse on the whole, to make it broad and general. Physical impairment, short-term relationships, duration. These are things that can cause a person to be abusive. One of the things that I have noticed was, how do you put this? So I don't want to be too blunt about it.
No, be blunt.
Alcohol abuse.
Blunt. Sometimes it needs to be blunt to
I have seen say Friday evening, work is done, you get your paper, and for whatever reason you go lineman with the boys, female.
Tell people what lineman is.
Pardon?
Tell people what
lineman is. Chill out, hang
We're
out.
We're teaching invasion here, come on.
You go and hang out with your friends. You get drinking. Some people might gamble, not necessarily in a hard way, but you're out with your friends, your linemen. Then some person might do it casually, as after work thing, a regular on Fridays, just to kick back. But afterwards, when you go home, it's a different situation. Looking from the male point of view, the female, whether it's the wife, girlfriend, doesn't like that, and argument starts from there. There can be it can go physical, or things can be said to the person which are degrading. If children are involved, that is a very hard and painful part you have to deal with, especially if the children are young, or when we as adults tend to get in the situation where we are arguing, we forget about the little one that's in the room. So in they're seeing that can be the beginning of things that will happen for them as they get older. So these are things that can be built in.
I'm going to stop. Yeah, sorry. I'm going to stop you right there. What you just said is the reason why it continues. Because violence is never okay, right? We can all agree on that. So you just said something that's very, very important. Seeing a behavior, allowing it to continue, or copying it, or accepting it is the reason why this particular subject matter is one of those things where we all know about, but we're a little bit too comfortable. We're uncomfortable, but we're a little bit too comfortable not speaking on it or speaking it as a actual issue, right? You know, and I would like some of our viewers to, to ask some questions here or to give their input as well. But I think that that's the part when it comes to male abuse that, you know,
A lot of us keep silence on.
yes, we keep silent. We see it. We see it. We see the girl smack the guy across his head. We see, a guy with a black eye or whatever, or the conversations, she had a bad day this weekend. We hear it and we see it. And what happens? The reaction is either laughter, ignoring it completely, or justifying it, and we do have some people in society that do take it very seriously, but unfortunately the percentage of acknowledgement of this is very, very low, and this is the reason we have to have these kind of conversations. And I'll put this out there because I don't want anyone to think that we do not, and we're not advocates for abuse women.
Women.
We are, and I am an abused woman. So I would never, do one side and not another. But today's conversation is about male abuse. And we have to have that conversation. You can't change something unless you acknowledge it, one. And two, you cannot acknowledge something if you don't know about it or don't want to know about it. Continue, Teresa.
Okay, there are some pointers I'm going to give you for five signs of emotional abuse. The first one is they ignore boundaries or invade your privacy.
Mm-hmm.
So the abusers, like, they don't respect your space, basically. And another one is they're possessive, they're controlling. Things have to be done this way, things have to be put back the correct way, not, it caused an argument from there. Sorry about that. People are messaging about their podcast, same thing as we go on.
Yeah, it's okay. Keep it going.
Mm-hmm. They often dismiss your feelings. It's not about you, it's always about them. And we know when we are pushed in a corner, the next thing is retaliation.
Yep.
And everyone might not operate that way, but whenever we are pushed in a corner, the next thing we do is retaliate, whether it is verbal or whether it is physical.
We might retaliate with
men.
I'm going to interject there a little bit because not everyone, when pushed into a corner, fights. Some people fight, some fight, and then some coward, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not cowering, that's the word that's used. It means it's more of a compromise, like give in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, continue.
And I think, as Hillary said, with men, they tend to give in because tables turn. When a woman is being abused, the law is quick to step in.
No, in the law, people see it. People get involved very quickly.
When it happens to a man, say a man turns and starts to be aggressive, and everyone is there to defend the woman.
Or if it's a male,
they don't even have to know
if
how
it's a male on
the
male
argument started.
If it's a male on male, we see it as a fight, right?
Yeah.
And we just stand and automatically dismiss it, or we watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And we start.
We have social media.
You know that, right? People start cheering on, especially if a woman is really physically abusing or assaulting this person. I've seen situations where people like these strangers are gathering around, cheering her on.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's sad.
Just like,
it is painful.
Mm-hmm. It's sad. It's painful, and it's too comfortable, you know. Continue. Sorry. I just
Okay,
had to say that.
the traits of a mental abuser. One of
Mm-hmm.
the things that I notice here, the questioning of part of it, the abuser may question the victim's memory of an
Mm.
event or happening, usually between the two persons, blocking, refusing to listen to the victim or change the subject when it becomes uncomfortable. Those are things that mental traits that you see of the abuser. The perpetrator, Hillary,
Penetration.
perpetrator
Sorry.
makes the victim needs and feelings seem unimportant. So I guess that's what Hillary was talking about earlier when she was at a meeting
Yep.
and it was all females.
Mm-hmm.
There was just one male,
One guy.
and he refused to take a stand and say, "Well, I'm here because such and such."
Yeah.
Right? He waited until
I
everything was
was
finished,
actually in the
went back to
parking
the
lot.
car.
He ran up to
She
me.
said
Yep.
she was physically putting her stuff in the car to get in to go.
Yeah.
And he came up to her and started the conversation. Why didn't you say something when you're on his side? One, embarrassment. Two,
Shame is the
a room full of
shame is the
women, and you're
number
gonna start
one.
and talk about this.
Yeah, sorry. Shame is the number one reason of any abuse. Shame. It
Mm-hmm.
stops you from opening your mouth. Because I know they have that question, and a lot of people ask, why do people stay in abusive relationships? It's shame. And it's shame that comes from society. It's shame that comes from yourself. It's shame. And shame is very, very hard on you. So if you want to know the reason why people stay in an abuse relationship, number one is shame. Number two is financial. And number three, sometimes it's cultural. Um, and then number four, uh, it is, it sounds weird, but comfort. And when I say comfort, it's what am I going to do? Like that question of where am I going to go? What am I going to do? And not knowing the resources. So go ahead.
Some of the symptoms of psychological abuse in this case is the name calling. You're in the neighborhood or you're in the workplace and you're being abused, and persons that work with you, like they're talking about it. They say it as a laugh. Oh, don't listen to him when we're at meetings. He even can tell his wife or his partner at home anything. So you get that kind of degrading conversation that comes along. So for me, it seems like it's something like bullying.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe your children get bullied. To me, I take it as
Oh, you
bullying.
know why people abuse, right?
Mhm.
You know why people abuse?
Why
Lack
people
there
abuse?
of power or control
Hmm.
in their own
Controlling.
lives. Lack there of power or control of their own lives is the reason why people abuse. And it
Mm.
goes along for multiple different types of assaults, whether it be rape, whether it be molestation, whether it be pedophile behavior. All of those, it is lack of control and power in their own selves. And that's the same
Uh,
for bullying.
A question to you, Hillary. In your work, have you ever dealt with a teenager that such happened to?
Yep, I
And if
have.
so, what
Yep.
what what was their approach? Because I imagine it's a group. It's not always one on one. It's a group of people you'll be dealing with. What
Yeah,
is
it's a
your
group of
their
people I was dealing
approach
with.
to you? Because I know of
Yeah.
one instance you mentioned it was an adult
Hmm.
and he waited until
I had a teenager.
everything was finished
I've had
and you
teenagers.
were gone.
Hmm. No, I
So the
had,
teenagers, do they come up and speak to you freely about it?
yes, I had a teenager. He was actually 16 years old, and he was in an abusive
Mhm.
relationship. And he told, he told, he told his father, and his father said, what are you doing to cause her problem? Whatever you're doing, just stop doing it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that was his father's. And at the point where I went to a workshop for teens, and I was this one of the guest speakers, and after the presentation, they always come to me after, like, where it's away from everyone else. I was in the lobby about to leave, and he came up to me and he said, good presentation, that's really good. And his question was, what if he had a friend that, and he started
Mm.
asking all these questions
They
about
tend
his
to hide
friends.
behind that.
Yeah,
It's
this
not
friend. And
them.
I said, what is your name? And he said, my name is, and I said, well, is that your name of your friend? And he just looked at me with these eyes that I've seen before, and he went silent. And I said, it's okay, it really is. And he just let it all out. He cried. I hugged him, and we stood there for a while, and then I brought him outside more, because I don't want him to feel the shame. The shame stops you from speaking. It stops you from advocating for yourself, and it takes away your voice. Right. So his abuser was a teenage girl. That was,
Really?
yep. She was beating him. She forced him to have sex when he didn't want to, and he was at the point of suicide. And so when something like that is so at that level, detrimental, I immediately told him that I need to speak to some person that can get him immediate help. I did know the ladies that were inside the building, and I said to him, I'm telling you, no one is going to blame you for this. You need to get help, and you need help now. And it took a little bit convincing, but after about an hour of me speaking, and sharing my story a little bit more, my youth as well, he allowed me to go and grab one of the ladies from inside, and she was a social worker, and she took over from there. But he reached out to me about a year later, and wanted me to know that he had started doing music lessons, and he goes, I might not have a voice, but I have a song. And
That's good.
yeah, and he had gotten out of the relationship and understood that it doesn't matter who your abuser is. No violence is no violence should be accepted by anyone in society. And again, as I said, we're just way too comfortable with seeing men abused. And I'll say one more thing. I am so tired of people saying that a real man does not cry. Man, let me tell you something. If your man is not crying, right, that means that crying is a way of you releasing your energy and your frustration and rage, right? Crying is an emotion. So if he's not crying to you, the question is, what is he doing to release his pain,
His
his
pain.
frustrations? What is he doing? We're going to take a quick minute, and we will be right back with more hot tea with pleasure. And I want you to think about this.
This one is touching.
When you see, and I want you to be honest, drop a comment in, ask a question, or just give your feedback. When you see a guy being slapped around by another man, what do you do? We saw that whole Will Smith thing. I'm not going to go into it. I'm not going to go into it. But I was not happy with a lot of responses. But anyways, I'm going to leave that there. And, a lot of different things are happening in society. And again, I'm not saying that what happened is what we saw when it comes to that, or even the Johnny Depp story that's going on. I don't know which side is right or what. Don't write me, about that. I'm just saying it brings up the conversation, and we need to have that conversation. We'll be right back with some more hot teas with pleasure. Teresa, when you come back, you want to do a little skit.
Have you cut it already for me to go again?
Do you want to do a little skit when we come back? Because I think the people need to see how simple and how easy it is to to be in a situation where you're actually seeing an abuse and just sitting back and doing nothing. We'll be right back. Me and my technical issues.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss that fact, taking big swings, just hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took a red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel?
You got that?
How's it supposed to
Here we are. Back with you. We continue the conversation, the missing link. Yep. Male abuse. Teresa always miss my cues. That's okay. So we're back now. We have some viewers.
I can't hear you.
Sorry? I'm not sure why you can't hear me.
Can you hear me, Hillary?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, so I'm not. Yeah, so let's.
Oh, I can hear you now. Yes, go ahead. I couldn't hear you earlier. Go ahead.
Live, everybody, live. Thank you for Teresa for that. Okay, so you want to tackle the question? You want to? Sorry, but let's do the skit first, and then we'll tackle the questions. Okay. So you want to be the female or the male?
Doesn't matter. I'll be the female.
Sorry?
I'll be a female. I'll be the female.
You'll be the female, so you have to ask me the questions then. Ask me the hard questions. Go on. You sure you want to be the female?
Well, you want to be the male then?
It doesn't matter. Just go.
So, my questions are going to be geared around you being abusive. I being abusive to you.
You're the abuser. So if you know what, you be the male. I'll be the female. Okay, ready? Here we go. Where were you today? I didn't. No.
I went
no. Shut up. Where were you today?
I went shopping.
Did I tell you could shop?
Did
I tell you could shop?
You know I was going to. You know I was going shopping.
Okay,
It's Friday.
So you know what? You're talking too much right now.
Okay, I'll just leave it. I'm going to go put the groceries away.
Do that, because you're nothing. You're nothing.
Why does it always have
though,
to be?
But you're nothing. You know what?
Why does it always have to be?
I see you like a little bitch. How about that? Yeah. Yeah, be quiet. That's what you're supposed to do. Now, next time I speak, you listen. And whatever you want to do with your friends, you can forget about doing with your friends. But if you really love me, you wouldn't do half the things you'd be doing. Right?
So who's going to go and get the groceries? You're not going to go and get them.
I'm sorry. Come closer. Let me tell you a secret. Come closer, though.
No.
Did you just say no to me? Oh, okay. I see how you are. You're a punk, huh? Yeah, you take those glasses off. You know what? I tell my friends you're a bitch. And you know what they say? Yes, he is. A real man would do this. A real man would do that. You're not a real man. You're a little boy. And why am I with you? Because I pity your ass.
So why are you here then?
Again,
Why are you
did I
still
ask
here
you to
then?
speak? No.
Look, I'm gonna go and make something to eat.
Let's end it there. And then, so physical violence could happen or whatever. But we've seen this so many times in society. We've seen the arguments. We've seen women and men going back and forth. And we assume, what's the assumption? What did he do? Right?
We always look at it as it's a situation to blame the guy.
We blame the guy and we blame the victim when we do that. So I just want to pull a little something up that I have here. Teresa, in Barbados, how is male abuse seen? Is that
It's not talked about.
Not talked
It's
about?
not talked about.
Have you seen any situations on the street or know of anyone that either was or was experiencing or have you seen
most of the time what you see on the street most of the time what I have seen on the street is male on male, whether it's someone from the LGBTQ community back and forth with each other, and or person usually get physical, the men usually get physical. I remember growing up, like in my early teens, within the community where I lived, there was this gentleman. They were aged though. They had grown children that were like in their 30s, 40s, and the gentleman would come home, and he was very what we call here a drunkard. He drank a lot of alcohol, and then he will come home at 3 hours in the morning. Outside would be silent. We call it dead of the night. And then you will hear this big argument, and you will hear this tumbling and things throwing, and it was such the norm coming from that household.
Yeah.
Like, oh, another one. And then when you wake in the morning and you look in the direction of the home, you can see the results of what happened last night on the home, because sometimes you broken windows, whatever the case is. And when you see the individual, you will likely see bruises. But it just became the norm. It just became the norm. You're smiling. You get some comments in the chat.
I'm just looking. I'm reading some of the comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
It became a norm. So then, no one in the neighborhood. I've never seen the police visited the house with
Good
an
point right
incident
there.
like that.
Police. Let's talk about the police right now. And we've seen the police change over the years. It's going towards, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, but we're seeing some change, right? Towards a more positive light. We're seeing stuff.
This is in Canada or?
I would say
in
Canada.
general?
I want to speak on North America right now because that's where I am. So I'm seeing a change, okay? But when it comes to male abuse, remember that whole Jeffrey Dahmer situation? You remember that back in the 80s, 90s, around there? Where okay, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened, girl. Let me tell you what happened. Give you the tea, okay? I'm not even going to talk about my tea today because I want to focus on this. There was a situation where these men, there were multiple calls to a particular home about men arguing or loud noise coming from a particular home. There was even a situation where the police took the guy back to the house. Okay? The men were being murdered, raped, murdered, you name it, torture. Okay? Oh, there's one person said, Baby Eiffel says, I grew up with a neighbor like that and a young girl that would look, she was watching in horror. And that's the thing is us.
It affects you mentally when you're a child.
Let me go back to the Jeffrey Dahmer situation. The police walked the guys back to the house. They came to them and said, "Hey, I'm being abused. Hey, this guy's raping me. Hey, this guy kidnapped me. Hey, this is happening." And when he went back, he said, "Oh, it's a lover's quarrel," and it was dismissed. And a lot of those victims were killed. And this is the problem. So when we go when I'm just again experience and information and exchange of information where the victim called the police like he was supposed to, and when the police got there, he got arrested. I had one client that told me that. He said, "I got arrested, and doesn't matter what I said, I was not believed. I was not believed." And he was charged with assault, and it was him that was actually being assaulted. It took him so long to prove that, and unfortunately she pulled a weapon on him, and that was his last straw. That was it. He was stabbed. He was stabbed 4 times, and that's when they believed him. And we don't need that to get to that level for when that phone call comes in. I'm talking to the police right now. When it comes in, and the man is saying, "I'm being abused," and I'm not saying that all police do that. I'm just making a comment.
And from experience.
And experience is believe both sides, but investigate in the moment.
Take the matter seriously.
Take it seriously when a man is called.
Take it seriously.
Whether it's the same sex or opposite sex, it doesn't matter. Violence is never okay. And baby, I hear you when you say that the child was watching horror. Too often, a lot of when it comes to abuse or violence is repeated by a child because it's something they've seen and has been accepted in their household so often that it's become a condition. And conditioning is very, very easy and very, very quick. And when I say quick, the amount of time, the time it takes to condition a person to do bad, it will take a multitude of time, much longer for them to undo that. So if you wonder why a child might not react when they see violence, is because they've seen it so much time. It's a norm.
It becomes a norm.
It's a complete norm, and babyface Eiffel, I thank you for that comment. It is so true because and we also are the child. We are the child. Society, people in the audience, we are the child too, because we sit there and we watch it. We see a man being assaulted, and we just kind of either turn our face or, what would he do? Oh, he deserve it. Start commentating. Some people do step in. I've seen a situation where people have stepped in. It's
even
interesting
if
because it's usually a female stepping in, right?
Even if it's the case, if you don't want to intervene, I think one should at least reach out to law enforcement. Reach out to someone that can assist. I don't know what keeps
happening here. It keeps going back and forth to showing again. Here come these technical issues. It keeps showing or break tag. It keeps doing that. But anyways, we're here. You can hear us. Thank you, Nicole, for that. For letting us know that she couldn't see us. We can see us now. Hopefully we can continue to see us. I don't know. I'll get our tech to look at that. But thank you so much for that. Yeah, continue, Teresa. Sorry.
I was just reiterating on what you were saying. If it's a case that you feel that you don't have the power to do something,
yes,
there are numbers you can call. There's law enforcement you can call. If it's a case, you can get that person out of that situation at that time, because the man or the person being abused, the man, because we're talking about men here, it might be a case that be able to get out of the house,
yes,
or wherever So if it's in the streets and they're fighting, if it's a case that you can disrupt the abuser and get that person out of there, you have done a great deal.
Yeah.
You
We're
have
gonna we're
done a
gonna drop
lot.
we're gonna drop the we're gonna put some numbers and information up on our platform once we post the video, the recorded video of different help resources in the U.S., Canada, and Barbados. Uh, if you know a person of abuse, please reach out. Try to help. Do not judge and don't blame. Um, there is a lot of things that we as a society, when it comes to this particular topic, shy away from, and I hope that this opens up a conversational piece. It's much, much more to it than what we're talking about tonight. As we said, we're just pulling from our own experiences, some information that we read. As we talked about the whole, or we're not going to talk too much about our lubricant product tonight, but that's where we got some of this information from, because we were dealing with the whole aspect of understanding self-love and self-care. And I just want to give a takeaway tonight, Teresa. You ever heard a female say, "Oh, I went through his phone. I broke into his phone and went through it.
Hackers.
I followed him. hmm I know what he doing at work, right? Right?
The thing is, they have
That's
the
called
friends.
stalking, people.
They have
Okay?
they have their friends
that
that can
is
keep
that
tabs on
is
it for you.
illegal. Okay? It's illegal to do those things. Do not think that because you are a female that it's okay, or that. And let me explain something to you. Even if you're married to the person, common law or otherwise, legal document or not, you have zero rights to break into some person's phone. You have zero rights to follow people around unless it's because you're trying to prove that a crime is being committed. And you have zero rights to bust into a hotel room and beat the heck out of the person that you're, even if he's having an affair. You have zero right to be doing that, because at the end of the day, violence is violence, and that's that, right? So I've heard that too many times, too many stories of women. I'm gonna use the word bragging. Yeah, I got into his phone. Yeah, I did this. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, I show up at his work. And we've seen how that has escalated. Do you remember that time? Okay, I'm going back in the 80s again, 80s, 90s. The Bobbitt situation where she cut off his penis.
Oh my God.
Remember that? What did we do with that? What did we do? We turned that into a joke.
Everyone was talking about it. It was just broadcast. I don't think people really took it serious.
No one took it. Yeah, people didn't take it seriously.
I don't think people really took it serious.
No. Kick the guy in the groin.
I remember being in
I kicked the guy in the
conversations.
groin
People
and
would
brag
use
about
it.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Miss
How many
Bobbitt.
females? Come on now. How many females you heard say, "I'm gonna kick you in the groin," or "I kicked him in the groin," and then what? What are you gonna do about it? Right? Am I wrong? Baby Thinks Eiffel says, I saw 4 families in my area destroyed by alcohol. 2 of the young men actually died. One from an incident and the other from his alcoholism. And that's another thing, is we don't ever know what causes a person to drink. And this is another thing when it comes to male, because again, society has told them they are not allowed to cry or show emotion. Okay? You want a man to show emotion and to cry and to express himself, because guess what? They're humans. Okay? They're called human beings. In the same way you get to express yourself emotionally, any person should be able to express themselves emotionally. Doesn't matter the sexuality. And for you to, and for them to be, chastised for doing it, or be considered weak or punk or pussy or whatever you want to call them, then what are we doing? What are we doing? So I'll say this to my audience. We have, 32 views going on. I'll say this. When you see any person male or female, same sex or other. When you see it, don't turn your face. Don't sit back and cheer on. Don't become part of the problem.
Don't keep silent.
Don't keep silent. And for those out there in an abusive situation, I say this to you. It is not your fault. There's no reason to be ashamed. Shame is the reason that you're sticking there and staying there. It's the number one reason. And shame is hard. Shame is hard because when it comes, especially from that situation where, you go and you tell your boys or you tell your family, like, man, she hits me or she does this, or you can't believe I woke up and she was on top of me. And they, and the response that comes back at you is not something of support that will continue. Teresa, you got any last words?
When you see something, say something, as the saying goes. See something, say something. If it's a case because you think that you'll be overpowered because of your body weight, your size, you think you're not bold enough to step up and say something to the person that you then will be attacked, you can pick your phone up. We all have a phone.
311-211 here in Canada. 411. I mean,
you make
911 is always in North America wide. Yeah. What is it in Barbados?
Report that incident. What is that
in Barbados, Teresa?
I think no, we're trying to put. Well, it's not. It hasn't happened as yet, but we're trying to get all our emergency numbers. You see how you call 911 and then it dispatches you.
Yeah.
We are trying to put all of our numbers under the same thing as that, so it's not a bother.
Yeah. Petra Eiffel says
someone is messaging me.
Sorry, I'm just going to read a comment here. Petra Eiffel says most of them drank alcohol to take away
the pain.
The problems, and that's true. That is so true.
So our emergency number here for the police is 211.
211. Okay, in Barbados.
211 the police.
And
you also have a hotline number, which is 429-8787. 429-8787. That's a hotline number.
Yeah.
And within our law enforcement here, there are sections that instead of you calling and talking directly, like a usual call, if you want to call for anything in general, there is a section that you can call that deals with family. So 211 is the number you call here in Barbados, and Hillary said it was 311.
We have 311 and 211 here in Canada.
Okay.
When it comes to getting help, they take care of the non-emergency issues, but in something where domestic violence, especially is in a current situation, 911 is the best number to call. They have the Lifeline Canada Foundation. That's another one that deals with crisis, and that's here in Canada. We're going to drop some information after and put it onto the stream to the recorded episode, so that you have this information. Again, shame is the reason a lot of people stay in these situations, and not because they want to, or financial is a big one as well. And what we have to do as a society is not to diminish or belittle those situations.
And advice to anyone going into a new relationship, male or female, but mostly focus on male. And there are things that are going on or things that are being said that you don't agree with. Say something. Don't go like, oh, that's nothing. You didn't mean it. Because what you allow at the beginning is going to continue. And there's only one person that
the word allow.
You can think for that.
The word allow means not picking
what you
up the
accept.
phone. Yeah, not picking up the phone and making that call, or telling someone, or some people don't have the motivation, the strength, and the power in their voice to say something, and maybe just tell a friend, a true friend, that is. And one more last piece before we go, that when it comes to male abuse, that why it continues is cultural acceptance. Sometimes it's cultural, for men to not express themselves or not to advocate this type of behavior, and it continues because it's allowed. And again, it's the same thing. I mean, we can go on and talk about.
I was about to say, yeah.
You know, topic, but what we really wanted to make clear tonight is that it is real. It does exist, and that until we as a society start to deal with it and treat it as real, acknowledge it, and when it happens, when it's in front of your face, pick up the phone, call 911. You know, I'm not going to tell anyone to get involved physically, because you never know what could happen and it could cause your life. But a call to 911 or any authority figure or someone that you can get some kind of help, or even if the person, because asking a person if they need help sometimes could be dangerous for them as well. So try to assess the situation, be more of eyewitness, you know, that you can advocate on their behalf, like, you know, calling the police and saying what you've seen. But, you know, getting involved could be very, very dangerous for you and for the person. So that's what we're going to say on that. And Teresa, we're going to wrap it up with a little bit of Barbadian culture. And what is the one thing you want Barbados males to know, whether it is same-sex or opposite-sex violence? What do you want them to know?
In terms of the discussion, speak out. Don't be ashamed and hold stuff in. You need to speak out, get it out there. And if it's a case, like you were saying earlier, if it's a case you can't interact.
I know we have 3 more minutes left, right? But do you realize that we see a lot of this stuff? I know we're on YouTube, and don't kick us off YouTube, but we see a lot of this play out on YouTube videos. Am I wrong? We see a lot of this play out on YouTube videos, and we watch it. We watch it. Some of us laugh. Some of us are entertained. And we're watching abuse as entertainment. And justifying it by saying, oh, you know, he did this, or having a story happen in front of us, not knowing the beginning, not knowing the end, only seeing a part of it, and making a conclusion that whatever just happened, he deserved it.
Fine. So basically, we're acting out film.
Yep. Every day. YouTube. Reality shows.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
And
the list goes on and on and on, right? But I want to thank all the viewers coming in tonight, and I want to thank for those questions in there, Nicole, Petra, Babyface, Eiffel, everyone. Thank you for your questions. Yes, we were smiling. And I want, again, 911, 411, 211 in Barbados, 911 here in Canada, US. If you see something and you see violence, violence is never okay. We want you to continue to keep it real, keep it raw, motivate, lubricate your life, and moist up everybody. But again, male violence, never okay. Any kind of violence, never okay. We'll see you here again next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We want to thank you one more time, Teresa. I'm glad to see you up and running again. I know both of us were under the weather. We're trying so hard to make this happen tonight. I'm still down and out, but you know, getting a little bit better.
We're fighting it.
I'm fighting it, yeah. And I hope you feel better as well. So thank you again, everybody. Here goes our connection, not showing our faces, Teresa. I don't know what to do. But I'll get that figured out next week. Thank you so much, everyone. You have a great night. Like, comment, subscribe. Hot Tea
See
with
you next
Partners.
week.
See you next week. Take care.
Okay. Bye. Mhm.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win at life, I never miss that fact, taking big swings, ain't giving back, put me in the ring, or go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean, and I bring it to the mad light, ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took a red pill, I know life's short, so I wanna live real, but how's it